G'day there guys, my name's Tom and I work here at Dillenger. Today I'm going to show you how to install one of our 250 watt kits onto one of our new road bikes. There's a few things that don't come in the kit that you'll need for this, and those would be brake sensors. These are what we'd normally use on a hydraulic brake. We do include levers with the kit, but they're not going to work with the drop bars again, so it's just a small sensor and a magnet to trigger the e-brakes. And the last one's more of an option, torque arm. These are steel forks, high tensile steel forks, but it's always a good idea to have a torque arm if you're running something on the front. Just takes the stress out of the dropout, so we'd recommend adding that to it as well. Let's get started. I think I'll start first of all with the front wheel. So I just need to grab some tyre levers and we'll change this tyre onto the new wheel. First step is pretty easy, taking the front wheel off. Put the frame back over there for a sec. Just going to borrow the rim tape off this one as well. Sure, you've probably seen someone change a tube before, so if this does not interest you, you probably want to skip ahead. And let's just put a bit of air in it. I won't put a full amount in here yet, just leave it down a little bit, makes it getting past the brakes a little bit easier. We'll always top it up at the end, just make sure you haven't pinched it and everything's holding fine. So the next step will be putting this wheel into the bike. Now there's two ways it can go obviously. The easiest way to find it is grab it by the axles and roll it, and if it freewheels that way, you'll notice if I try and turn it backwards, it's just trying to turn the axle and you don't get many rotations out of it at all. And you need to, sorry about the low level of light, set up the washers. This is a keyed washer. Has a little slot cut in it. So you need to make sure they're the same on both sides. And we suggest setting them up so that the cable actually runs down out the bottom. Like that. And then you actually loop the cable back up. So you make sure the cable exits downwards, have a loop. If any water gets on the cable, it runs down and drips off the bottom rather than running into the motor. So just a little sneaky tip. So on this particular motor, the wire exits out the right hand side of it. And the next step is just a case of lining up the axles. Sometimes it's easier to take the end off so you can see the slot, and it might just need turning. And pretty much there. Quite easy on this one. This is our 10Ah battery, that's the kit we're using, and that's how the battery comes apart. Can stump a few people when they first get them because they look like one seamless unit, but bring it a little bit closer, slides up and out. So you have slots in there that goes on your water bottle mounts, and then it comes together and you can lock it in with the key, on and off with a button. So we'll just mount this first. Looks like you need a 4mm Allen key. Now, you want to mount this as low as you can, but if you go too low, you will get interference problems with your gears. So I'm just going to mount it about here. It's quite easy to adjust the height on this though, so if you you do find you've mounted it too low, or you think you've mounted it too high and you might be able to move it down. Doesn't take too long to adjust at all. So just looks like we can get it pretty far down on this one. So that's the cradle mounted on there. Battery's on. And in case we turn the bike upside down and don't want the battery falling off, just lock it in, so it's pretty strong. All that we need to do now is run a bit of cabling and put the display on, and we're nearly there. So I think we might mount the display next. So it's a unit that has display and then separate buttons. On this case, middle button turns it on, and the up and down are for the changing of pedal assist levels. It's 3mm Allen key on the back of this one. It looks like we're a little bit tight on space, so what I might have to do here is move the gears over a little bit to the centre, and we'll get the display on. So just putting the handlebar display on now. The bracket comes in two parts, so I've just pulled it apart completely. The brake levers need to go up to the middle. They weren't super tight when I got them out of the box, so there's like a, need tightening up from fresh anyway. I think it gives you that flexibility to put them where you like. So then just mounting this, there's a taper and then it goes down. So just mounting it in the thinner part. So it's still at full clearance in the gears, and then we just need to mount the buttons on the other side. And again, 3mm Allen key, same as the display unit. Okay, with the display and the controls mounted, next step would probably be a bit of wiring. So this kit uses the 4-into-1 wiring for the handlebar controls. So one plug on one end, 4 on the other. One goes to the controller, which is down here at the base of the battery. The other goes to throttle, brakes and display. So throttle and brakes are going to be another project later on, just because with these different brake levers to normal, they're a bit hard to set up with our brakes, and the throttle probably end up mounting up here as well, just a twist throttle. So we'll just go display for now, and then we'll do pedal assist sensor. So line it up, there is a little arrow on each plug. Pop them together, give them a squeeze. So that's one done. Let's put a run up here, mount something under here, and then the other one to do would be the display. So up this end, just matching the colours, and there's also arrows, and there's also little indents that match up. Switch that together. I guess we can power it on, and the display's on. So I'm getting pretty close to being done. Next step would be the motor cable. So it does come with a small extension, but it looks for this bike like we'll be able to get away without. And that's even still leaving a loop at the bottom of the motor cable. So this one's the same as the other plugs, line up the two arrows. These ones are not keyed because of the number of pins in them, they can fit in the wrong way. And if you do that, the kit will not work. It might even throw an error code, so just get rid of this plastic band. We'll do pedal assist sensor. Super easy. And what I might do, I'll zoom in on the bottom bracket for you so you can see. So hopefully you can see this okay. 4 components. Well, 3. So you got 2 halves of the disc, a sensor and a retaining clip. On one side it says working surface, on the other side it's got just says magnet disc for EPAS. Working surface is the side that faces the sensor. Line up either side, clip it on like that. Circle it on. Yep. Make sure it's really on. And next step would be to mount this sensor up. So you want it so that the crosshairs on the end of the sensor line up with the magnets in there. It does have adhesive on the back, so that's normally good to get them started. So I mean, you can go on either of the tubes. I might just go up this way, just so it's going to look a bit neater once it's all done. And it's always a good idea just to, once it's lined up, to secure it in place with some zip ties. So you get a few zip ties included in the kit. Make sure you go up between the frame and any cables that are there, just otherwise you'll affect the rear derailleur, things like that. And also make sure you zip tie the right way around. So there's a couple of little eyes on the actual sensor base that you can pass a zip tie through, and we'll hold it in position. So that's the pedal assist done. All that's left, grab him, he matches up with the yellow one down here, line up the arrows, squeeze them together, so in the end we'll be able to tuck this up under there, something like that. A few other bits and pieces, we've tied up the cabling in a moment. So we're just going to check that the pedal assist is working and that the wheel's working as well. So I turned it on at the battery, turned the display on, pedal assist level 3. I'm going to have to pick up the front and back so I can pedal. There you go. Working as it should. There's a little bracket that comes with the 4-into-1 cable, and basically just use it to hold the cable to the front part of the bike frame. Disconnected the handle bar display there, so I'm going to want it to go forwards like that. So this will be upside down like that, go around the handlebars and just hold all the cables there nicely. Stop them from yanking on the controller and things like that. Just a Phillips head screw on the side. Now that's there, we'll just plug the display back in. So I guess now we'll just start finishing up the wiring. Got a few zip ties left. There's a full set of instructions and that come with it as well. If you so you don't need to follow the video, you've got a hard copy if you would like it. Just going to tidy up some of these cables here. So there you go. It's a pedal assist only install of our kit. That's what's required in Australia for the compliance under the 250 watt rules. It can only be pedal assist, so just mounted it up like that. Pedal assist sensor, nice and easy to install, bit of wiring. Battery mount was easy, front wheel was easy. A little bit of trouble with the display, but we got there. And that's just about it. I mean, we'll take it for a quick spin and make sure it goes okay, but other than that, that's pretty much done. Just need to put some pedals on it, really. Well, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions about this kit or any of our other kits, please contact us and we'll try and help you out. Cheers.